Hi, WBUUC friends. I'm Amy, and my pronouns are she, her.
I'm Nico, and my pronouns are they, them.
And we are the religious education staff at WBUUC. We wanted to talk a little bit with all of you who are doing the worship at home program or maybe doing chapel or youth groups at home, all of you who have gotten our starter kit boxes, and help you get the most out of what we included in these boxes, and maybe even answer a couple questions about why we included what we did in these boxes. And so over the next few weeks, we're going to kind of be going through each of the individual items that we put in there and talking a little bit about those rituals that we hope you'll think about or even include in your daily lives at home. But first, we thought it would be really important to talk about why it is we do ritual at all and how we do ritual in our lives. So Nico, do you have a story that you'd like to share with us about ritual?
I do. So when the pandemic first started and life was kind of shifting around, I started this practice of taking pictures of the sunset and sending them to a friend. And at first it was just us sharing pictures of the beautiful sky and these lovely colors with each other. But over time, as the weeks went on and life continued to change all around me and feel really uncertain, it turned into something more. It turned into an opportunity to take a breath, take a moment, and appreciate the sun, not only by myself, but with a friend. And it turned really into a ritual, and it started to be something that I looked forward to every single day. And it was something that took on a bigger meaning than just taking a picture of the sunset. And I think that's really what rituals are all about.
What I love about that story is it's not just about, and I think you've said this before, not just about a ritual that you maybe learned from someone else or was passed down to you, but finding sort of ritual and meaning in the mundane, the things that are already surrounding you. And I think now more so than ever, we kind of need those ways, those sort of rituals to help hold our everyday lives, because we've been forced to find new ways of marking days or celebrating things or finding connection and building new rituals in those ways.
Yeah, and I think also ritual doesn't have to be a big shift in your life. You don't have to carve out 3 hours to do a ritual every single day. It can be something that just sort of falls into your routine and starts to take on meaning. And I really love that about ritual too. Because right now I don't have capacity to take on a whole lot of new things. And so when it just starts to take on its own meaning, it's very natural and very beautiful.
Yeah. Yeah, one of the ways that we talk about ritual with kids is we just say it's something you do over and over again, and it's something you do with intention. So what makes brushing your teeth a ritual instead of just something you do, right, is maybe you take a minute to center what you're doing. You focus on that in front of you and kind of silence the other things around it. And maybe you hold brushing your teeth in a little bit different way when you say, I'm taking care of myself and my body right now. And you really have those 2 minutes for nothing else other than brushing your teeth. And I think it can be really beautiful. I've noticed a lot of, especially younger kids, really love ritual, I think for that reason, because they can focus in and hold that one thing that's in front of them in that moment.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think that's why it's been such an important part of RE classes to have those rituals in there so that the kids have something to look forward to no matter what we're going to talk about that day. But it doesn't have to be confined to just RE classes.
Right. Yeah. And I think too, like ritual doesn't have to be overly serious either. I think that's one thing that scares people away from ritual is they think it's this serious thing that you have to do. I mean, one silly ritual I have with my kids is every time we drive over the Mississippi River, we all spell it really fast. MISSISSIPPI, as fast as we can as we're driving over the Mississippi River. And it's just that moment that like all their conversation in the car stops. And it really, I mean, it's kind of fun to see who notices that we're driving over the Mississippi first. It's become a fun ritual for us where we get to have a moment of silliness together and kind of whatever else was happening. Maybe we were having a little fight in the car, not that my kids would ever do that, but maybe that's what's happening. And now we're all having that moment of recognizing this amazing body of water that we're driving over that moment.
Yeah, and there's a wonderful piece of connection there too, which can be challenging right now if you're alone in your space, trying to figure out how a ritual can bring in that feeling of connection. And that goes back to the intention of it, the intention of, while I light this chalice, it's reminding me of WBUC, it's reminding me of my church friends, it's reminding me of everyone that I miss dearly, and I'm gonna think about them and hold them for a moment as I light this chalice and have this ritual.
And I think it's the naming of it too out loud. I remember when my kids were young, one of the things that I would often do when we were at the grocery store would be like sort of narrate it out loud, right? Like, now we're going to grab some oranges, and now we're going to grab some lettuce. And that's, we talk about that as being a way to help kids with language development and all of that other stuff. But it also helps kids make sense of the world when you're sort of like, and now we're going to sit down and watch church together because it makes me feel connected with my church community that has helped to hold me when times are tough. Or now we're going to read a story together because we really value listening to each other. And it's a time when you and I can connect with each other. So even just naming it out loud is not just helpful for kids, but also helpful for us as we're naming that intention. And it takes that little thing that you were doing that was maybe just a task and makes it into something really deep and beautiful. It makes it into this connecting ritual together.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So I hope that rituals are something that you all will consider exploring together, whether it's just a simple, let's take a breath together before we have our meal, or let's take a breath before we start distance learning today, or whatever it is. I would love to hear more about what large and small rituals you have at your home. Send us a message, comment below, let us know what role ritual plays in your lives at home. Nico, do you have anything else to add?
I don't think so.
All right. Well, I'm really looking forward to this little experiment where Nico and I have conversations together about these things and share them with you all. Nico, it's always so fun to chat with you.
Absolutely.
Looking forward to doing this more. We'll see you soon. Bye, friends.